Hi, it's Dwyer. It is January 8th, 2022. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. Let's talk NFL futures, right? Using current numbers. Hopefully you've been amassing a betting portfolio as the season went along. But even if you're starting today, let's talk about the best pick, in my opinion, to win the Super Bowl. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, casual bettors never seem to understand the huge advantage, home field advantage, gives a team during the playoffs. Right, folks? It's huge. And it's even bigger this year, by far. And I mean by a wide margin. The team most likely to win their conference are the Green Bay Packers. Right? You're getting them right now with one game left in the season, the regular season. You're getting them at a plus 338. Again, a plus 338. Because that last regular season game is at home. Just understand what this means. It means that likely MVP winner Aaron Rodgers, who I consider to be the best quarterback in the National Football League, right? He doesn't have to play Week 18. Key teammates don't have to play Week 18. Some will because they'll have incentives in their contracts, right? But just understand, most of the guys on the Packers don't have to play Week 18. And then they don't have to play Week 19. That's what the home field advantage means. It's as if you've won, the first round of the playoffs. You don't have to play it. So these guys get to relax. These guys get to be with their families. They get to sleep in their beds if they have a regular season home in Green Bay. Right? They get to be around familiar environments. While there are some teams, including the Tennessee Titans, who can clinch home field in the AFC, who need to win Week 18. In other words, they have to have an air of seriousness in preparing for Week 18. With Green Bay, there's no pressure. Week 18 or Week 19. Right? These guys get to regroup. These guys get to reflect on what happened to them in last year's NFC Championship game. That's the other part of the equation. The experience factor. Understand, the Green Bay Packers were in the NFC Championship game last year, which they hosted at home. The end of the first half was a mess. They allowed Tampa Bay, playing on the road, to get a very late touchdown in that first half that changed the tone of the game. Right? So Green Bay, as you can imagine, has a score to settle with Tampa Bay. And understand, while the papers in Tampa over the last few days have had to talk about a Pro Bowl wide receiver who just returned to the team, taking off some of his clothes and leaving the team. And then, of course, there are allegations from both sides, right? The receiver claims that he was treated poorly by Bruce Arians and cut on the sidelines. The receiver's taking shots on his trainer. He wanted a rebate of half the money. And, of course, he shares that trainer with the quarterback, Tom Brady. In other words, there's turmoil in Tampa Bay right now. They not only lost the Pro Bowl wide receiver's talents, right? They took the hit in personnel, but now, of course, there's the acrimony. You don't have any of that coming from the Green Bay Packers. So let's dissect lines here for a moment. Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are certainly major competitors. They've been in the last 2 Super Bowls. Mahomes has already won a Super Bowl MVP. Experience matters. But ask yourself, which line is better? If Green Bay, after the regular season ends, wins 2 games, 2, they then win the NFC. Kansas City going off at a plus 448. Again, a plus 448 versus Green Bay's plus 338. Kansas City can't win home field advantage if the Titans beat the lowly Texans. Think about that. Right? There's nothing Kansas City can do if the Titans win Week 18. And like Kansas City, the Titans have been in the playoffs in recent times. Right? Green Bay has the best quarterback in the league. I would say when healthy, the Tennessee Titans have the best running back in the league. So understand, Kansas City's plus 448 pales in comparison to Green Bay's plus 338. Because Green Bay doesn't have to leave home to win the NFC, and Green Bay gets to play fewer games. Let's look at the Tennessee Titans. Folks, I'm a big believer that when it comes to betting, you grab the low-hanging fruit. Right? You're telling me that Tennessee, a team that has been appearing in playoffs in recent years, a team that has, we'll call it, a playoff culture. You're telling me that Tennessee, a team that can win home field in Week 18 and not have to leave Tennessee, is going off at almost 11-1? Folks, that bet makes itself. Even if you don't believe in Tennessee, understand, you're getting 10, almost 11-1. It's a plus 1,078 right now. As I make this video, you're getting almost 11-1. And of course, if Tennessee wins home field over a sub-500 team in Week 18, you're getting credited with winning the first round of the playoffs because you get a bye week. So right now, let's not outthink the room. I know there are many people who feel that, oh, this year it's the Buffalo Bills year. Right? We'll overlook the fact that that team is heavily reliant on Josh Allen, and that team has a problem running the football. I know there are those of you who believe that Tampa Bay won it last year. They're well situated to win it this year. Right? How could that be the case when they don't have home field? I know some of you are going to say, hey, well, they won it last year without home field. Right? But last year they didn't have this Antonio Brown overhang. Right? Brown, of course, recently got cut from the team. I know there's some who want to believe in the Dallas Cowboys. Folks, continuity is king. Right? Green Bay, the Titans, the Kansas City Chiefs, they've been in the playoffs in recent years. The Dallas Cowboys have had a problem getting there. Right? I understand. Dallas on paper has a lot of talent. A lot of that talent is young talent. Right? I much more trust Devontae Adams and Derrick Henry in playoff games than I do C.D. Lamb. Right? The first 2 guys I know have a wealth of playoff experience. I don't know that with C.D. Lamb. Let's go further. You know, recently, as the Rams have gotten closer to getting in the playoffs, Has anyone noticed that Matthew Stafford has looked awfully shaky in the first halves of some games? Who do you trust more in an NFC Championship game? Aaron Rodgers, who's won a Super Bowl, Pat Mahomes, who's won a Super Bowl, Tom Brady, who's won a Super Bowl, let's say a few Super Bowls, or Matthew Stafford, where the storyline is that he was on an underachieving team. He has the talent, he just hasn't had the stage to showcase that talent. Folks, I'm just telling you, look at the trend line on his interceptions. Speaking of interceptions, I want people to realize that as explosive as the Bengal offense has been, right? And Joe Mixon certainly helped me in a fantasy pool this year, folks. Joe Burrow throws a lot of picks, doesn't he? You don't have to believe me, just look at the stats, right? Just understand. A guy like Aaron Rodgers, who of course is a juggernaut at home, and who doesn't have to leave home until the Super Bowl, hardly throws any picks, right? So right now, you have to ask yourself, the quarterbacks who throw a lot of picks, do they have that margin of error? And I would say no one does in the playoffs. You're playing the best teams in the league. The odds couldn't be higher because each game is single elimination. Right? So right here, it's before Week 18. The Week 18 games are going to start in a few hours. Right? I believe what people need to do is to take the Green Bay Packers at plus 338. In fact, let me recouch this. What I've done, the bets I've made recently to add to my portfolio, because they're still screaming bargains, is I'm taking what the universe is giving me. I'm taking the 1 seeds. With Green Bay, understand, there's no uncertainty, folks. They are the 1 seed. They don't have to win Week 18. So Green Bay at plus 338 is a screaming bargain. Let's think this through. Green Bay has to win 3 games to win the Super Bowl. Right? 3 games. Folks, at a plus 338, and we're just going to disregard Week 18 because they don't have to do anything in Week 18. Right? They have to win 2 games to win the conference, and then they have to win 1 more game to win the Super Bowl. Right? They have to win 3 games at a plus 338. You're getting better than even money each game. Right? Don't get me wrong. If they don't deliver, you lose it all. But that's an illusion because you can hedge. So right here, what they're telling you is that the team with the best record in the league, they're going to give you a plus 338 when they have to win 3 games. Right? There's a possibility that the team they play in the second round of the playoffs is playing their second consecutive road playoff game. Think about it the other way. Let's say the team they play in the second round of the playoffs is playing their first road playoff game. Understand, that kind of stress and wear and tear is going to give Green Bay a distinct advantage. Distinct advantage in that first playoff game. Right? Understand, too, some of the possible teams they could play. Right? Arizona Cardinals, a team that plays in Glendale, Arizona, a town known for golf courses, a team that plays in a stadium where you could make it an indoor stadium, might not be equipped to play in cold Green Bay. Right? The Dallas Cowboys, same thing. Right? They're in Texas. Right? They're in a great new modern stadium that you can close the top of. They might not be equipped to play in cold Green Bay. Right? Let me say this too. Tampa Bay. You don't think that there isn't a day this season when the Packers who played in that game haven't thought to themselves that they gave that game away. Right? Bad play calling by the coach. Left Tampa too much time at the end of the first half. Tampa, of course, was able to capitalize on a bomb. The coverage in the secondary was not the best. Right, folks? Green Bay is going to be looking for revenge against Tampa. Right? It's all laid out here. The plane is on the runway. The most likely team to win the NFC are the Green Bay Packers. Now, I know gamblers like complexity. I've been hearing a lot of people say, oh, gee, are you one of these people picking Green Bay? Right? As if that's a crime. As if there's something wrong with taking the likely MVP winner, the best quarterback in the league, at home for 2 games, right, to get to the Super Bowl. Folks, that's the play. The other teams are troubled. Right? A warm weather Southern California team is going to go to Green Bay with a quarterback who doesn't have the experience of Aaron Rodgers in NFC Championship games. I like the Pack there. Right? I'm in the Bay Area. I'm telling you there's an open question on who the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers is going to be from game to game these days. Right? I'm not sure what team management is doing, but let's just say they haven't been good for Jimmy Garoppolo's self-confidence. Right? Here's a guy who was just in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and of course, they're treating him as if he's failed the team. Right? He's competing against a rookie. Right? Think about that. At the most important time of the year. Right? So, the Green Bay Packers at plus 338. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. That's the clear logical pick on a playoff future right now in the NFC. In the AFC, I don't think I've ever heard of a team with home field getting 10-1 and higher odds. Right, folks? If the Titans beat the lowly Texans this week, they can't lose in the first round of the playoffs. They can't. And you're getting them at longer odds than the Chiefs and the Bills. I don't care if you think the Chiefs and the Bills are better than the Titans. Just understand that the minute you hear that the 1 seed is going off at better than 10-1, you know my saying, your response should be, thank you very much. I'll take it. No need to put a bow on the package. Now, we'll add additional picks to this because, of course, as happens every playoff season, there are going to be upsets. There are going to be injuries. There are going to be things that we can't possibly anticipate right now that are going to impact the outcome of games. COVID infections, for example, and ineligibility. Right? Just like you couldn't predict the Antonio Brown craziness. Right? Him getting cut on the sidelines, if he was cut, then walking off the field in such a way where repairing that relationship became impossible. Right? Just like you couldn't predict that. There are things we won't be able to predict right now. So we'll add picks as this goes along, as betting opportunities emerge. But right now, 2 picks you need to have as part of your betting portfolio are Green Bay at plus 338 to win the Super Bowl, and Tennessee at plus 1078 to win the Super Bowl. Don't get seduced. Don't get seduced by teams that look great on paper and in recent games that don't have the experience, recent experience, in NFC or AFC championship games or going deep in the playoffs. Right? Carson Wentz on the Colts, folks, that's an unknown this time of year. Right? That's the reality. Don't fall in love too much with stats. I know the Tennessee Titans statistics are lackluster. Right? Just understand, Derrick Henry didn't play in a lot of games. Very different dynamic when it's a playoff game and suddenly you're dealing with Derrick Henry coming out of the backfield. Just understand, Ryan Tannehill once led the NFL in quarterback rating. Just understand, Mike Vrabel is like Mike Tomlin. His teams win when they aren't supposed to. His teams get in the playoffs. Right? There's a winning culture in Tennessee. If the Titans beat the Texans in Week 18, they can't lose in the first round of the playoffs. Then they're giving you better than 10-1, and you understand just having that endowment allows you to hedge the play. So if you had no money on KC, and you got 10-1 on Tennessee, then if KC plays Tennessee in the playoffs, you can say, okay, fine, I can bet a few dollars on the Chiefs. I can guarantee myself the winner of the game because I got the greater than 10-1 odds before Week 18 on the Titans. Right? You'll have leverage you can work with. You'll have leverage you can transfer to other teams. So for me, locking in the better than 10-1 on the Titans is an absolute no-brainer. Don't overlook the low-hanging fruit. Taking 1 seeds, particularly at this price, is definitely worth a look. That's how I see it. I have Green Bay and the Titans in my betting portfolio. I'm not going to be seduced, right, by teams like the Bengals where they're young, too young, right? Jamar Chase, his first year, he's a key player for the Bengals. Where the quarterback looks good, is an excellent quarterback, throws too many picks, certainly compared to Aaron Rodgers. Right? Hasn't led the league in QB rating any year, unlike Ryan Tannehill. Right? Understand, right now you want to think in terms of efficiency. You want to ask yourself, this young team, the Bengals, who really won their division by default, right? Cleveland disintegrated, didn't they? Big Ben, let's just say it's his last year and you understand his skills are deteriorating. Right? Baltimore, I believe Lamar Jackson isn't even playing this last week of the season. Right? The Bengals were in the right place at the right time. Joe Burrow, first time on this stage, right, in the playoffs. You're going to trust him more than Aaron Rodgers, who's about to win the MVP? Pat Mahomes, who's already had his MVP? Tom Brady, who's won his MVPs? Josh Allen, who got to the AFC Championship game last year? Now's not the time to roll the dice with new untested entities who don't have any experience for this time of year. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this video. Thanks for stopping by.